Hello, and welcome to this video. Before we begin, I want you to forget everything you've been taught, everything they told you in school, everything society told you about success, everything you think is normal. Because today, we're going to talk about the one truth they never teach you, that the life you're living, the one you were trained for, is not freedom. It's a trap. Today, we're going to talk about something that controls your life, your time, and your future. And most people don't even realize it. It's called the rat race. Let's go back to the beginning. From the time you were a child, they gave you a script. A path that sounded safe, responsible, and smart. They told you, go to school, get good grades, follow the rules, don't question too much, get a stable job, work hard, pay taxes, save money, retire at 40. And most people follow this path without ever asking, who created this path? And why does it never lead to freedom? Because if you look around, you'll see it clearly. Millions of people working hard every day, waking up early, sitting in traffic, taking orders, pushing papers, chasing promotions, waiting for weekends. And for what? A monthly salary, a rented apartment, a 2-day break, a life full of rules, and very little time to actually live. Now I want to show you something no teacher, textbook, or government will ever say out loud. Let's talk about the richest people in the world. You see them in the news. You see them in big cars. You hear their names: Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Oprah Winfrey, Warren Buffett. But do you know what they all have in common? They're not employees. In fact, the real numbers will shock you. 75% of the world's richest people are entrepreneurs. They built their own businesses. 15% are investors. They made their money work for them. 7% inherited wealth. They were born into it. 3% are in entertainment, actors, athletes, celebrities. And guess how many became rich just by working a 9-to-5 job? 0. Not even 1%. 0% of millionaires and billionaires became rich by being an employee their whole life. Let that sink in. You spend your life working 40 to 60 hours a week, while the people who live the life you dream of are not even following the same system. Now here's the twist. Do these rich people work harder than you? No, in fact, most of them work less. Some as little as 25 to 30 hours a week. They're not working 12 hours a day. They're not stuck in traffic. They're not answering to a boss. They don't ask permission to take a day off. They travel when they want. They eat well, live well, spend time with their family and friends. They're not waiting for the weekend to feel alive. So you have to ask yourself, what's going on here? Is there a secret they know that you don't? Is the system hiding something from you? Yes. And it's time you hear it. You see, the system is not broken. It's working exactly how it was designed. And it was never designed to make you rich. It was built to make you useful, to make you a worker, to keep you inside a loop where you spend your best years making money. For someone else, you work 40+ years of your life to build someone else's dream, to pay someone else's mortgage, to grow someone else's business, to make your boss rich. And when it's finally time for you to enjoy life, you're too tired, too old, too sick, or too scared to try anything new. That's the trap. And if you think this is just how life is supposed to be, stop. Because what you call normal life is actually a well-designed cage. A cage that feeds you just enough. A small raise once a year. A title change to feel important. A 2-week vacation to keep you quiet. A holiday bonus so you don't quit. A Friday evening to make you forget Monday is coming. And the saddest part? Most people stay in this cycle, not because they love it, but because they don't know there's another way. They've been trained not to think differently. They've been trained to believe. Play it safe. Don't take risks. Just be thankful for your job. That's life. So today, this video is your wake-up call. Not to quit your job tomorrow, not to become a millionaire overnight, but to start seeing the truth, to start questioning what you were taught, to start asking bigger questions. Why do I work so much but still struggle? Why does my life feel like it's on repeat? Why do I have dreams but no time to chase them? Why are others free but I feel stuck? Because once you start asking, you begin to break the walls of the cage. And in this video, I'm going to show you how this trap was built, why most people never escape, what the wealthy do differently, and exactly how you can start building a life of freedom. A life where you control your time, your money, your choices. A life where you wake up with purpose, not pressure. A life where you work because you want to, not because you have to. Because the truth is, you weren't born to pay bills and die. You were born to create, to build, to grow, to experience, to live. And that begins now. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Part 1. What is the rat race? The rat race is not a place. It's not a job. It's not something you can touch or see. The rat race is a trap, a mental prison, a lifestyle, created to make you feel like you're doing something important while slowly stealing your time, energy, and life. It begins the moment you're born. From childhood, you're put on a track, a path. You're told, go to school, get good grades, don't ask too many questions, follow the rules, be obedient, get a good job one day. And so, you follow that path without questioning it, because everyone else is walking the same road. No one tells you where that road really leads. No one tells you that this road doesn't lead to freedom. It leads to a cage. Think about it. You go to school for 12 to 15 years. You spend hours learning facts you forget. You learn how to solve math problems, write essays, and memorize names of historical kings. But they never teach you how to control your emotions, how to handle money, how to think for yourself, how to build your dreams, or how to say no to a life you don't want. Why? Because the system doesn't want free thinkers. It wants good workers. The rat race begins here. You graduate, you get a job. You work hard, day and night. You follow what they told you. Be on time, say yes, work late, don't complain, be loyal, get promoted. And you're told to feel lucky because you made it. But deep inside, something feels wrong. You wake up every morning feeling tired, even after sleeping. You spend your entire week waiting for Friday, and your entire Sunday worrying about Monday. You look at the calendar and realize, time is flying, but your life is not moving. You go to work, sit in meetings, do the same tasks, come home exhausted. You eat dinner in silence. You scroll your phone for peace. You sleep. And the next day, the cycle repeats. You do this for 5 days a week, for 40 years, and finally retire. Tired, older, with some savings, but no energy to enjoy your life. That's the rat race. Let me give you a powerful example. Imagine a hamster inside a cage. It runs on a wheel. That wheel moves fast. The hamster feels like it's going somewhere, but in reality, it's just spinning. The cage never opens. The wheel never ends. That's what millions of people are doing. They wake up early, run to work, try to prove themselves, work harder, climb the ladder, only to stay inside the same system. They think they're moving forward because the wheel is spinning. But really, they're running in place. No matter how hard you work, no matter how much you sacrifice, you're still inside the wheel. You have no time, no freedom, no control. You can't travel when you want. You can't take a long break without asking someone. You have a fixed salary with a fixed ceiling, and you're afraid of losing your job because your whole life depends on it. That's the rat race. Now listen carefully. This system is not an accident. It was designed this way. Why? Because the world doesn't run on freedom. It runs on control. And the easiest way to control people is to keep them busy, tired, and afraid. If you're too busy working, too tired to think, and too afraid to lose your job, you will never question the system. That's the truth. You will never ask, why am I working so hard but still struggling? Why do I have no time for my family? Why am I building someone else's dream, not mine? Why am I living the same day again and again? Because you were trained not to ask. You were trained to survive, not to live. Let's go deeper. Do you know what hurts the most? It's not the work. It's not the pressure. It's the feeling of being stuck. When you feel like you have more potential inside you, but you don't know how to use it. When you want to take risks, but fear stops you. When you want to do something meaningful, but the rent is due. The bills are coming. The family is depending on you, and so you stay in the same place, year after year, pretending you're okay, but slowly dying inside. That's the rat race. And here's the most painful part. The world will applaud you for staying in the race. They'll say, you're so responsible. You have a stable job. You're doing everything right. But deep down, you'll know you're just existing, not living. You'll smile in front of people, but cry at night. You'll post selfies from your desk, but your soul will scream for freedom. Because you weren't made for this. You weren't born just to wake up, work, eat, sleep, and die. You were born to build, explore, love, create, and feel alive. But the rat race doesn't care about your dreams. It only cares about your output. That's why this video matters. Because once you understand what the rat race really is, you can start thinking about how to escape. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to quit everything today. But you do need to wake up, to question, to learn, to plan, to choose. Because if you don't choose your life, the system will choose it for you. And that choice will not lead to freedom. Part 2. 5 brutal reasons why people stay stuck in the rat race. Reason 1. People trade comfort for control. One of the biggest traps in life is comfort. It feels good. It feels safe. But what people don't realize is, comfort is the most dangerous drug on earth. It gives you short-term peace and long-term regret. When people get a monthly salary, a roof, a chair, and 2 days off, they think, I'm okay. Even if the job is boring, the pay is low, the pressure is high, and the soul is dying, they stay. Why? Because it feels better than taking a risk. They say things like, at least I have a job. It's not that bad. Maybe next year I'll do something different. But year after year, nothing changes. Let me give you a powerful image. A dog sits on a nail. The nail is poking him, but not hard enough to make him scream. It hurts, but not enough to make him move. So what does the dog do? He stays there for hours, for days, for years, because the pain is familiar. The ground is familiar. He's comfortable, even in discomfort. This is what people do in the rat race. They accept just enough because they're too afraid of what if. What they don't see is comfort now equals pain later. Comfort now equals dreams delayed. Comfort now equals freedom sacrificed. The rat race uses comfort as a cage, and most people stay inside it because they fear losing control. But the truth is, you never had control. The system gave you just enough to keep you obedient, but never enough to help you break free. Reason 2, they confuse busyness with progress. One of the most dangerous illusions of the rat race is that being busy means being productive. People work 10 hours a day, attend meetings, reply to emails, run around offices, and think, I'm working hard, I'm moving forward. But pause for a second and ask, are they really moving forward? Or are they just spinning in circles? Let me give you a true life comparison. A treadmill moves under your feet. Your body gets tired. You sweat. You feel like you've gone far. But when you stop, you're in the same place. That's what happens in the rat race. Most people are not progressing. They're just busy. They're exhausted, overwhelmed, burned out. But their actual life? Stuck in the same position. They confuse activity with achievement. They think motion means momentum. But motion without direction is just noise. Ask them what they did in the last 3 years. Did they learn a new skill? Did they start a side hustle? Did they invest in themselves? Did they move one step closer to freedom? Most won't have an answer, because they were too busy, being busy. The rat race rewards people for being occupied, not effective. And as long as you're running on someone else's schedule, someone else's dreams, someone else's deadlines, you'll never build your own. Reason 3, they fear judgment more than regret. This is one of the most heartbreaking reasons people stay stuck. They're not just afraid of failing. They're afraid of what people will say if they fail. The world has trained us to crave approval. From school grades to college ranks to job titles, people measure success based on outside validation. So even when someone wants to break free, to try something new, to start a business, to leave the job, they hesitate. Not because they're lazy, but because they're scared of the whispers. What if I fail? What will my relatives say? What if people laugh? What if I look stupid? And so they don't try. Let me give you a real-life scenario. A man wanted to start a small online business. He had the plan, he had the passion, but he didn't do it because his coworkers laughed. They said, "You start a business? Just stick to the job." He listened to them, and years later, those same coworkers were still complaining about their jobs. But his dream? Gone. This is the power of judgment. Most people fear embarrassment more than they fear failure. And so, they die slowly in silence, doing things they don't love, for people they don't respect, in places they don't belong. But here's the truth. No one is thinking about you as much as you think. And even if they are, they don't live your life. They won't feel your regret. The rat race thrives on fear of judgment. Because if people start thinking freely, the system breaks. Reason 4, they never learn how money works. This one is massive, and it's something the system never teaches you, on purpose. Most people go their entire lives thinking money comes only from one thing, a job. They think, work more, earn more, Work harder equals get richer. Work longer equals become successful. But this is a trap, because in reality, the people who work the hardest often earn the least. Think of farmers, construction workers, delivery people. They sweat, they suffer, they sacrifice, but still, they struggle financially. Now compare that with someone who owns a business, a website, a digital product, a YouTube channel. They might work 3 to 4 hours a day, but money comes even when they're asleep. Why? Because they learned how money actually works. They don't sell time for money. They build something once and let it pay them again and again. But most people never learn this. Why? Because the system trains you to become a worker, not a wealth builder. That's why school teaches algebra, not investing. That's why you learn history dates, not passive income. That's why no one teaches how to make your money work for you. The system wants you to depend on salary, so they can control you forever. Until you learn how money moves, how to create assets, how to invest, how to multiply, you'll stay in the rat race no matter how hard you work. Reason 5. They wait for the perfect time. This is the most silent killer of dreams. People think, one day I'll escape. One day I'll start something new. One day I'll live on my own terms. But one day never comes. They wait for the perfect time. When the kids grow up. When the bills are paid. When things are less busy. When they feel more confident. But life doesn't work like that. The perfect time will never arrive. Because life will always throw challenges, distractions, delays. Let me give you a clear example. A woman wanted to start a small baking business. She had recipes, she had passion, but she said, I'll do it when my kids grow up. 5 years passed. The economy changed. Competition rose. Her energy dropped. Now, even though she still dreams about it, she feels it's too late. Why? Because she waited. The rat race loves this, because the longer you wait, the deeper you sink. And here's the truth. Starting before you're ready is better than never starting at all. Waiting for the perfect time is how average lives are built. The successful don't wait. They begin. They learn on the way. They adapt. And that's why they rise. Part 3. 5 powerful ways to escape the rat race. Tip 1. Build something that works when you're not working. Most people stay in the rat race because their income stops when they stop. If they don't show up to work, if they don't clock in, if they don't work the hours, they don't get paid. That's called active income. And it's the chain that keeps you trapped. But if you truly want to escape the rat race, you need to build something that pays you even when you're asleep. This is called passive income, and it's the foundation of freedom. Now, let's be very real. Passive income is not easy. It's not magic. It doesn't come overnight, but it is possible, and it is necessary. Imagine you spend 2 hours a day after work writing a book, a simple digital book. It could be a cookbook, a guide, a skill you know. You write it once. Upload it. Now every time someone buys it, you get paid, even if you're sleeping, even if you're on vacation. Or maybe you create a course, a blog, a YouTube channel, a podcast, a mobile app, or a small digital store. Yes, it takes time to build. Yes, you have to learn. But once it's running, it keeps working without your full-time effort. The rich understand this. They don't just work for money. They build machines that work for them. Even simple things, like renting out a room, building a small team, writing templates, designing tools. Anything that once created can earn you again and again. This is the opposite of a salary. Your salary depends on your time. Passive income depends on your creation. You don't need millions. You just need one good system that gives you time, money, and control. And the best part? You can start building it while still in your job. Use 1 to 2 hours a day. Use weekends. Start small. Stay quiet. Let it grow. Because the day your income becomes independent of your job, you stop being a slave to the rat race. That's when freedom begins. Tip 2. Master a rare skill that pays you more than time. Let me say this very clearly. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for your value. 2 people can work for 1 hour. One earns $10, another earns $1,000. What's the difference? Skill. The rat race traps people in low-value skills. Jobs that anyone can do. Tasks that are repeatable, replaceable, robotic. And if anyone can do it, your income will always stay low. But the moment you master a rare and valuable skill, you step out of the average crowd. You become irreplaceable. You become in demand. You get to choose, not just apply. There's a man named Carlos. He used to work at a coffee shop making $12 an hour. He wanted more from life, but he had no idea where to start. One day he discovered graphic design. He started learning on YouTube. Free tutorials. Practiced every day after work. 6 months later, he designed logos for small businesses. A year later, he left the coffee job. Today, he works 4 hours a day from home and earns 5 times what he used to. Why? Because he stopped selling time and started selling skill. It could be anything. Design, writing, editing, coding, marketing, communication, strategy, coaching, negotiation, video creation, data analysis, public speaking. You don't need a degree. You don't need a classroom. You just need discipline, internet, and hunger. Spend 6 months building one skill, master it, practice it, polish it, and suddenly, your time becomes expensive. You don't chase jobs. Jobs chase you. When your skill becomes rare, you escape the rat race because you are no longer a worker. You're a specialist. The economy pays specialists, not generalists, not button pushers, not time sellers. Find your weapon, sharpen it, and then charge what you're worth. Tip 3. Rebuild your identity. In silence. This may be the deepest and most important part of escaping the rat race. Because escaping isn't just about money, it's about mindset. The truth is, most people never leave the rat race because they don't believe they can. They think, I'm not smart enough. I'm too old. I don't have connections. I'm not lucky like others. It's too late for me. But these are not facts. These are stories, programmed into your mind by the system. And if you want real freedom, you have to destroy the identity they gave you and rebuild your own. Let me explain. When you live in the rat race long enough, you start to believe that's all you deserve. You get used to being told what to do. You get used to waiting for instructions. You get used to playing small. That's not your real self. That's your caged self. And you'll never break free with a caged mindset. You have to rebuild yourself. Silently. You don't need to post it. You don't need applause. Just go quiet. Turn inward. Start the transformation. Wake up earlier. Read more. Say no to noise. Spend time with your thoughts, with your journal, with your dreams. Set small goals. Finish them. Gain confidence. Grow discipline. Take control of your routine. Reshape your surroundings. Distance yourself from negativity. Every day, one brick at a time. Build a new identity. One that believes in power, progress, purpose. And soon, people around you will notice. You talk differently. You move differently. You choose differently. And they'll ask, "What happened to you?" You'll smile and say, "I remembered who I really was." Because the rat race doesn't just steal your time, it steals your self-worth. But when you rebuild your mind, no job, no boss, no system can control you again. You walk differently in the world. You move like someone who's free, because now you are. Tip 4. Take back control of your time. Ruthlessly. Let's be honest. The real currency of life is not money, it's time. But the rat race tricks you into thinking your time belongs to others. You wake up when an alarm tells you. You eat when the office break allows. You respond to emails that don't move your life forward. You sit in meetings that drain your energy. You come home and watch other people live on a screen. And then you sleep, only to repeat it all again tomorrow. What's happening here is dangerous. You've lost control of your most limited and powerful resource, your hours. Now think about this. Everyone on Earth has the same 24 hours. So why do some people build empires while others barely survive? It's because the successful protect their time like a lion protects its territory. They don't allow distractions, noise, fake urgency, or mindless routines to control them. They don't wake up and give their energy to everyone else's demands. They design their day around their goals, not around their boss's to-do list. You must do the same. The first step is to audit your time. Track it, hour by hour, but for 1 week. Be brutally honest. How much time is going to mindless scrolling, gossip, TV shows, tasks that feel busy but bring no growth? Once you see the truth, you take back power. Now start cutting. Wake up earlier. Not 5 hours earlier. Just 1. That 1 hour in the morning before the world wakes up is gold. Use it to build, to think, to write, to plan, to improve. Set strict boundaries. Say no to time wasters. Don't pick up every call. Don't check every message. Not everyone deserves your attention. Here's a simple principle. If it doesn't build your future, limit it. If it doesn't align with your dream, delete it. If it doesn't challenge you, it's distracting you. The rat race keeps you busy, but not productive. It wants you running all day, so you never realize you're running on someone else's path. But when you reclaim your time, everything changes. You have time to learn that skill. You have space to start that business. You have energy to think big again. You have room to rest, reflect, and grow. You stop reacting, and you start building. This is not about being busy. It's about being intentional. The most powerful people in the world don't find time. They create it. You must do the same, ruthlessly, unapologetically, with full control. Only then will you begin to escape the invisible cage that steals people's lives. Tip 5. Stop consuming and start producing. Become a creator, not just a consumer. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts that will unlock the door to freedom. And yet, most people never even realize it. Let's talk about your daily life. Every day you watch YouTube videos, scroll Instagram, watch series, listen to music, read blogs, follow influencers. You're consuming information, entertainment, inspiration. But stop and ask, how much do you actually produce? Do you create content? Do you share your voice? Do you write something of your own? Do you build something useful? Do you put something into the world that others can learn from, use, or buy? If the answer is no, you are fueling someone else's dream, not yours. Now let's break this down. The internet has created 2 types of people. 1. Consumers, those who scroll, watch, like, and follow. 2. Creators, those who post, write, record, design, speak, build. The creators are the ones who grow. The creators are the ones who attract attention, build influence, generate income, and escape the system. You may think, but I don't know how to create anything. I'm not an expert. I don't have an audience. That's just fear talking. Creation can be anything. Teaching something you know, sharing your thoughts or journey, making a digital product, designing something, solving a small problem, helping others in a simple way, turning your story into value for others. Let me give you a quiet example. A young woman loved to cook. She started recording her simple home recipes using her phone. No expensive camera, no perfect lighting, just passion and consistency. At first, only 3 people watched, then 30, then 3,000. Now, she has her own YouTube channel. She teaches, earns, inspires. She stopped being just a consumer and became a creator. And the moment she did that, she escaped the rules. She no longer had to wait for a promotion. She no longer had to ask for permission. She became the source, not the follower. This is the shift the system doesn't want you to make. Because when you're consuming, you're passive, you're obedient, you're dependent. But when you start creating, even if it's small, you wake up, you find your voice, you create value. Creation builds confidence. Confidence builds independence. Independence leads to freedom. That's how you escape the rat race. Not by watching more, but by becoming the one others watch. Now I want you to take a moment and just breathe. Forget everything you've been told. Forget what society expects. Forget what your job demands. Forget what others say success looks like. And listen to this. You were not born to live like this. You were not born to wake up tired, drag yourself to work, follow orders, pay bills, feel numb, and then repeat the same cycle for 40 years. Just to retire with a little money and a lot of regret. That is not life. That is survival. That is the rat race. And that is not your destiny. You were born with something powerful inside you. You have a mind that can imagine, create, build, dream. You have a heart that can love, feel, connect, and lead. You have time, not forever, but enough, to build a life that is yours. But if you stay in the race, if you keep chasing things you don't want, if you keep listening to people who are just as lost as you will wake up one day at 60, 70, 80, and say, where did my life go? Why didn't I try? Why didn't I believe in myself? Don't let that happen. Let me tell you something real. There is no right time. There is no perfect day to start. There is no permission slip coming. You are the permission. You are the signal. You are the fire. You don't need to be rich to begin. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need all the answers. You just need to start. One step, 1 hour a day, one brave decision, and everything can change. You see, life doesn't care how many hours you work. Life doesn't reward suffering. Life doesn't wait for the safe option. Life rewards courage. Life rewards movement. Life rewards the one who dares to break the pattern. If you're tired of the race, if you're tired of pretending, if you're tired of feeling stuck, then now is the moment. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now start small. Wake up a bit earlier. Read that book. Watch that course. Learn that skill. Turn off the noise. Say no to distractions. Say yes to growth. Say yes to yourself. Even if no one believes in you, it doesn't matter. Even if they laugh at you, it doesn't matter. Even if you fail at first, it doesn't matter. Because in the end, it's your life, not theirs.